Hi, it's Mary, a traditional Chinese medicine tutor and an acupuncturist in Canada.
The rule of yin-yang is, yin and yang are the opposite but interdependent parts inside one unity. They promote and restrict each other. The wane and wax of the strength of yin-yang create the movement of the unit, even resulting in the intertransformation of the yin-yang under certain conditions.
The concept of yin-yang is yin-yang opposite with each other, but they are independent with each other. There's two contradictory aspects. They opposite with each other, but at the same time, they rely on each other. They wane and wax together, and they transform to each other under certain conditions. When people is healthy, there's a balance of yin-yang. When the balance has been disturbed or leading to imbalance of yin-yang, where the disease will come. That's the main content of yin-yang.
Opposition between yin and yang.
The opposition between the yin-yang means there exists the contrary attributes of two opposite aspects in all kinds of things and phenomena in nature. There's a heaven, then there's earth. There's a night, there's a day. Cold, heat, active, static, internal, external, ascending, descending, entering, exiting. They have to together. You cannot go one way, like daytime, always day. It's not our earth, it's not our universe. After day is night, after night is day. Opposite parts coexist. That's the opposite between the yin-yang. The yin-yang, the two opposite parts coexist inside the same concept or the same scope. The two opposite sides of yin-yang present with relationships of mutual restriction and control. Because they are opposite with each other, so they are trying to restrict and control each other. For example, the season change. From the spring to the summer, the yang qi is growing. When the yang qi growing, it inhibits or constrains the yin qi. When the autumn and the winter coming, the yin qi started to grow. The yang qi will be inhibited until it reaches the peak. At this moment, they make the turn again. The yin declining and the yang growing. The yang becomes bigger, stronger. The yin will has less ability to inhibit it. This kind of restriction of yin-yang, the outcome of restriction of yin-yang, makes dynamic homeostasis, makes a dynamic balance. That balance is within one thing or among things, depending what kind of thing you are talking about. You can think about it, you draw a circle. You can encircle the universe. The whole universe must be yin-yang balanced. Or you can encircle one thing. Like inside, you can think about the kidney, just one organ. This organ, the yin-yang, has to be balanced as well. When you make a circle, there's a boundary, there's an environment, and external, internal. Everything you make one, there's an internal and the external. The philosophy goes, the circle can be endlessly big. When you study something, you always need to put this kind of thing in an environment. If you study a human, you put a human in social and nature environment. If you study an organ, like a kidney, inside the kidney, there's a kidney function, but also kidney interact with other organs as well. Depending on how you draw the line, the circle can be really big, endlessly big. Always you can see there's things outside bigger than your circle. But then there's also smaller than your circle. You can draw very small, a tissue. And inside the tissue, they still have yin and yang. Because each tissue, they have life, they have function. There's a yin-yang. Yin-yang is in one thing or among the things. There's a restriction. Always has a restriction of yin and yang. They control each other, restrict each other. But at the same time, the interdependence of each other.
Interdependence of yin and yang.
This idea, interdependence of yin-yang, indicates that yin and yang must take the existence of its counterpart as the prerequisite for the existence of its own. And no one can exist solitary without its counterpart. Yin-yang, like husband and wife. Without wife, there's no husband. Without a husband, there's no wife. It's just like without day, there's no night. Without cold, there's no hot. The concepts always has to rely on each other. The yin-yang chart goes like this. Each time you draw a line, there's yin and yang. It's not like this kind of philosophy. Absolutely yin and absolutely yang. Absolutely yang, absolutely yin. If you draw a line from middle, it's separate. In Chinese medicine, you cannot separate the yin yang. If you separate it without the yin to hold it, the yang going upward, the character of the yang is going upward, and the yin is going downwards. The yin yang separate like this. If that's the situation, this unit cannot exist. Like a family, husband and wife, they don't communicate with each other at all. This kind of family will not going to exist if there's totally no communications in between them. Yin yang, in any time you draw a line, inside the yang there's a yin, inside the yin there's a yang. It's just like which one dominate, at that moment. It's not saying one is dominant is a bad idea. It's not like that. It's like that balance is changing. Everything take their turn to be the dominant part. That's the dynamic balance. You have day, it's yang dominate. And at night, it's yin dominate. Then yang dominate again, and then yin dominate again. Take turns to make the dynamic change. That's the interdependence of yin-yang. The dependence of yin-yang often expressed as the relationship of mutual generation and promotion. Example, with the yang, there's vaporized water. With the cold, it condenses, it becomes the rain, and the rain falling down becomes the accumulated water on the earth. Then with the yang again, it's going up, and with the yin, it's going down. In this way, you can see that yin cannot be generated without the yang, and the yang cannot develop without the yin. The yin-yang generation, they are together. In our body, you can think about the blood, body fluid, those are yin. However, when you say yin, they are still. They need to be produced by the function of zangfu organs. Without the yang, without the zangfu organ function, those yin liquid cannot be produced at all. So we will say yin cannot be generated or produced without the yang, without the organ function. At the same time, yang cannot be developed without the yin. If there's no organ, no blood, no body liquid, where did qi come from? It's just no way. The yin-yang has this kind of very close relationship. They interdependent each other, promote each other, generate each other. Nobody can exist alone.
Wane wax of yin and yang.
Another one is yin and yang have dynamic balance. There's a wane and a wax of yin-yang. The two opposite sides of the yin-yang, they are not in a state of stillness, but in constant change. The change has two types. One is the quantitative change, is the amount of change. Another one is the qualitative change. The yin change to yang and the yang change to yin. The quantitative change is the strength improve or decline. When it comes to the quantitative change, we're talking about the wane and wax of yin-yang. The wane means decrease, wax means increase. There's two types. One wanes while the other wax, or one wax while the other wanes, kind of like the seesaw. If one is bigger, another becomes smaller. One increase, another decrease. That's one type of a relationship. When one wanes, the other will wax, or one wax, the other will wane. Under this kind of mutual restrictions, if one side gets too declined, it fails to restrict the counterpart properly, would lead to another part getting hyperactive. For example, sweating. The sweating is because they're too hot. When it's too hot, that's yang is too much. When it's too hot, say people in fever, too much hot. The hotness consumes the body fluid, leading to the shortage of the body fluid, even leading to the yin deficiency, because body fluid is the yin. That is too much yang, leading to not enough yin, or too much cold will consume your body's yang. Cold winter, you go outside, it's too cold. Quickly, you feel the coldness. Your limbs become cold. Cold belongs to yin. Cold, yin evil. This is too much yin, leading to not enough yang. That's the yin-wax relationship of yin-yang. For the yin-wax of yin-yang, the another type of it is they follow the same type. One wanes, the other also wanes. When one wax, the other wax following it. For example, in the spring, the weather getting hotter. Yang qi in the spring and the summer grows and gets to the prime. In that situation, since on the earth, you can say the earth qi. Here we are comparing the heavens qi and the earth qi. Heavens qi is yang qi, earth qi is yin qi. Remember again, yin-yang is comparatively speaking. When yang qi is growing, the yin qi, the earth qi is growing as well in the spring and the summer. So you see things grow very well in the spring and the summer. That's the growing season when yang qi is enough. While in autumn and the winter, the yang qi declines, the earth qi also declines. Everything stored, waiting for the next season, waiting for the yang qi to become full again. Another example in the body is the relationship between qi and the blood. When there is enough qi, more blood will be generated. Qi is yang, blood is yin in this kind of relationship. When the qi is not sufficient, the organ function is limited or in hypo position, there will be less blood, body fluid will be generated. This relationship follows the same direction. When they're increasing together. When they're decreasing together. It's complicated. Yin-yang can go different direction. They can go the same direction. Depends on the situation. Maybe in the acute stage, they go different direction. But in the long term, it go the same direction. That's why different stage of disease, the yin-yang condition can be very different. In the syndrome differentiation part, we discussed that the TCM treatment methods for measles differ at different development stages. From the angle of yin-yang, in the acute stage, yang is too much due to the accumulation of intense heat, which consumes yin liquid. This is the type of yang waxes and yin wanes. In the late stage, the damage of yin brings down the amount of yang, leading to the types of yin wanes and yang wanes accordingly.
Intertransformation of yin and yang.
The transformation of yin-yang refers to transform from yin to yang or from yang to yin. That's the transformation. This transformation has to be under certain conditions. If a thing does not reach a certain extent of the stage, the yin and the yang attribute will not change. You look at the chart. At this moment, the yang growing. That's the yin wax. The yang growing, the yin will decreasing. But when it reached the peak, the yang changed to yin. Like winter is the yin, change to spring is the yang. That's the yin-yang change. Or from the summer is the yang, change to fall is the yin. So from yang to yin, it has to reach a certain stage. In the extreme stage, you're going to see the change. In human, you can see this as well. For example, a patient, at the beginning, he might just have yang syndrome, had high fever, very thirst, has a red tongue because heat. The heat makes tongue looks red, and the heat also accelerated the blood flow. You're expecting to see the rapid pulse. All those are yang syndromes. Too much yang will damage the body fluid. When the body fluid damaged, we say yin-yang, they are together. When there's not enough yin, the yang will be declined following it. Suddenly appears cold sweating, cold limbs, pale complexion, faint pulse. That's the yang depletion. Very critical disease from a yang syndrome developed to yin syndrome. That's the transformation of yin-yang. The yin-yang is not stable, stay still, always in constant movement. Depending on the condition, the change can be very different. The relationships between yin wax of yin-yang and the transformation of yin-yang is based on the stage. You can say yin and wax of yin-yang is a process of a quantitative change, while the transformation of yin-yang is a process of qualitative change. Yin becomes yang or yang becomes yin. This is the transformation of yin-yang on the base of the quantitative change. It's based on the wane and wax of yin-yang.
Balance of yin-yang.
The balance of yin-yang means that there's harmoniously balanced state is maintained by appropriate change in strength during the movement of the yin-yang. In other words, it holds a dynamic yin-yang balance by keeping the movement of yin-yang in a certain range. The yin-yang balance does not mean they are keep the same amount 50-50. That's not the case. It's changing, but this change is within a certain range. With the movement, there's a wane wax, and also there's a transformation. The wane wax and the transformation refers to the quantitative change and the qualitative change. If that kind of change are within a specific range, degree, and period, that is called the dynamically balanced state of yin-yang. In that situations, life is healthy. There's no disease. The healthy states will be maintained.
Is more yang more better off?
It's not like the more yang you have, the better you have. That's not correct. If you have too much yang, you might end up have too much fever. People has high fever, that's too much yang. You don't need extra amount of yang. You need right amount of yang. The good part of the yang is the yang can go inside. That's the good yang. So yang should be able to go inside the yang qi. Daytime, it's surrounding in the superficial part, in meridians. At night, the yang qi, the defensive yang qi, should go inside the zangfu organs. If the yang qi cannot go in, the yang would be just stay outside. The yin side, the zangfu organs would be too much yin. So there will be nodules, accumulations, fibrosis accumulated in the zang organs. In that situation, even though you have a lot of yang, the yang cannot go in. It's not considered to be good yang. It's like a family. The husband, let's say the husband is really capable, very, very talented, but this husband doesn't want to go home, always stay outside. The family cannot consider to be a healthy family. For the yang, even though it's associated with active, with power, with energy, but it has to be able to go inside. And the yin should be able to hold the yang in the place. That's the balance of yin-yang.
Imbalance of yin-yang.
The imbalance means two parts. One is too much and another is too little. Too much or too little are all belong to the category of imbalance. Imbalance of yin-yang means change in the strength of yin or yang gets too much or too little beyond the limited range. Nothing you can say is absolutely good. Yin is absolutely good or yang is absolutely good. You need to think about the amount. For example, food is good for us. We need food. Now let's have 20 burgers for your lunch. You might be die of this food. That means too much or too little are all not good idea. In order to keep the balance, you need to have the right amount. Otherwise, in nature, you can see there's a lot of disorders. Imbalance of yin-yang, like flood, drought, hurricane, earthquake, etc. Those belong to the imbalance of yin-yang. Here is a recap of relationship. We will need to know the yin-yang. They opposite with each other, but interdependence with each other. There's a wane wax of yin-yang, and also under certain conditions, they interchange into each other. Because the yin-yang are opposite with each other and interdependent each other, in these situations, there's a unity of opposite things. Yin-yang coexist simultaneously within one thing, within or a group of things. The yin-yang is not still. There's a wane wax, or under certain conditions is an intertransformation, which makes the things are always in motion. That's why we say yin and yang is the rule of the universe. The saying yin-yang is the rule of the universe. It has two meanings. One is they interdependent with each other, but opposite with each other. Another one is it's in constant movement. In terms of the yin-yang relationship, generally, yang is in dominant and yin is subordinate. That is, yang dominates yin and yin subordinate. because the yang is associated with character of movement, heat, upward going. The example of edema. You treat this problem, you're not from the angle of yin. The manifestation is the yin accumulation. In order to make it move, you need to reinforce the yang. In treatment, in medical field, we usually emphasize the yang is the foundation, is the driving force. Even though yin and yang, they are equally important. When you say yang dominance, yin subordinate, it's not we are underestimating yin. Yin and yang are equally important. Without the yin, yang will just escape. Yang will have nowhere to attach to. For example, qi has to attach to water, has attached to the blood. Without blood, without body fluid, the yang will escape. Then there's no life. Think about this kind of relationship. We're not underestimating of the yin, but the yang, because the nature of the yang, when we make definitions of yang, yang associated with movement. In medical field, we focus on the yang. There's another book called A Must Read in medical field saying in the treatment of a disease, both qi and blood are important. Nourish qi comes before nourish blood. Yin and yang are both important, and nourish yang is above nourishing yin. Concept, idea is that yang is the one associated with active, associated with upward going, associated with heat. So for the qi transformation, you need yang qi. You need yang to make the transformation, make the edema to be transported out of the body. That's the key of it. If you feel this video is helpful, please give me a like, subscribe to it, and share it with others. See you in my next video. All the best.